Good morning, guys. Jake here again, and today I got a fun little adventure in store for you. I think this is going to be a ton of fun. We are doing a start to finish, here's how I shot a photo video, and I guess the only thing I'm missing really is the scouting, but if you guys have been with the channel for a little bit, you know that I've probably scouted this location several times. It's up early, the sun hasn't even come up quite yet. We're just getting a little bit of light finally, which is finally making it able to shoot. It was too dark. Driving to the spot now, and I will see you guys when we get there. All right, guys, and we made it to the spot. So today, again, we're doing just a little vlog, a little run through of basically how I'm going to shoot my pictures today, and then all the way through to editing it with the software, kind of my thought process through the entire thing, and it's gonna be awesome. So let's go get these photos, and we're gonna get down by the river. I love that I live like basically a 10-minute drive away from getting into trees and water. It's awesome. So anyway, let's do it. All right, guys, so we're walking down to the river now. This is awesome. They actually put like this stairway down to the river, but I guess there was probably so many people walking down this path, it was all kind of dirty and hard to walk on, so it's nice that they added stairs, easier access to our spot. But we're headed down. One thing that you'll notice today is the camera's probably a little more shaky. I'm shooting on the G7 for video today, so you know, fun little comparison there. Let me know if you notice a huge difference in the 4K quality between the G7 and the G9. There should be, but it could be pretty much the same on YouTube. Anyway, we are using the G9 today to shoot our pictures, which is really what the camera was designed for. It has a ton of really cool video features. It's not a video camera, so we're gonna use it today to take pictures, and I'm gonna vlog on the G7. Should be kind of a fun little duo camera day. All right, it looks like the sun is starting to peek out there a little bit behind me. Let's go get by the river and get ready for this sunrise. I think it's gonna be awesome. Spot. I'll show you guys in just a second, but there's kind of this nice little sandy bar kind of spot, and then it shoots out over the water, which looks really cool, and then there's like a little island in the background, some nice trees on the other side, there's an osprey flying overhead. Great spot, great spot. I think this is going to work really nice, but the sun is still about right here. We need it to go a little bit lower in order to get some really cool orangey glows. I want them to hit me, and then we'll get that shot. So we're gonna wait around a little bit. Maybe I'll shoot some stock footage while I'm out here, maybe do it on the G9, get a little slow motion, we'll see. And so yeah, anyway, I'll be checking in, waiting for the sun to rise. This has been a fun video so far. I'm having a blast, love getting out and shooting some pictures. Okay guys, the sun is like just peeked over the mountain. You can see kind of behind me, this line is getting lower. You can see actually that bright light that just hit my face. We are in golden hour. It's go time. Let's start getting some pictures. I'm gonna try and position myself. We're using the time-lapse thing. So if you guys haven't watched my video on how to take pictures of yourself, I'll try and put some link around here, but I kind of go through, and I didn't do a super detailed job. Maybe I need to explain it a little bit better today, but I go over how I take pictures of myself, and it's kind of basic, kind of something you maybe already are thinking about, but it was just something that I discovered while I was doing it that made that so much easier, and you kind of just felt more confident with like, yeah, there's going to be at least a few good pictures out of taking one with myself than maybe the more traditional timer approach. So anyway, the sun's coming up. Let's stop talking. Let's shoot some pictures. So we're setting up the tripod. We've got the screen. We're going to pop that the other way, make sure the composition is good. It's looking pretty solid. The sun is still not quite where we want it, but we're getting there, so we're going to check that out in just a sec. It's looking good. I think we got the legs all positioned. Let's flip that around and let's go see basically how it looks from over here. So I kind of want to stand like right here. I'm looking, I can see yeah, I'm totally in frame. Looks really good. Oh man, I'm like way blown out. Okay, so I'm looking at the camera now, I'm looking at the screen, we're totally in frame. The lighting on my face is looking really good in the video, so it's gonna look good in the picture. Maybe just a little bit more sun right here to my left, but otherwise, I think we're in business, guys. Let's start doing that time-lapse mode and get some pictures. Just shot the first round. They're looking pretty good, but as you know, kind of this process as we learn, we go back, we look at it, we shuffle through all the pictures that just got taken in that time-lapse mode. Remember guys, so what I'm doing is I'm setting my camera to time-lapse. I'm only doing about 10, 20 photos, depending on how long I want to be out there, how many poses I want to do, and then I set it to basically shoot every 2 or 3 seconds. I trust the autofocus and the face detect to make sure it gets a good shot of me. And then we come back, we look at it, we readjust, and we do it again. And even in that first round, there's a few that I'm thinking, yeah, those are pretty good. But there's a few things, you know, we're gonna adjust. As you can see, I've got a little bit of lines on my face. There's some shadows sort of hitting it, so it's not solid light hitting my face. So we're gonna try and reposition a little bit here. We're gonna move the camera up, and we're gonna do it again. So let's see how that goes this time. Those turned out pretty good. I liked them, but again, we're still getting some shadows on the face, so I'm gonna reposition. I think I found a spot that looks like it's got solid light all the way through, no trees hitting it. So I'm talking a million miles an hour because golden hour doesn't last for very long. It's called golden hour for a reason because sometimes it's even less than an hour. It's quick. So anyway, we're moving the camera. G9's doing a great job. Love this camera for photography, guys. I mean, it's a great video camera. It is a great photography camera. So let's move over there and let's see what we can do. Okay, let's go take some more pictures. Those ones look good too. I'll flash them up real quick, but what I'm noticing is there's just too much shrubbery that way. So the sun is kind of hitting it. I'm getting some weird lines. I didn't, you know, I thought I'd be able to pull some light a little bit better out of it, but I'm just not digging the consistency. So I'm actually gonna cruise on back a little ways to something that's a little bit more open. We're gonna try and get that consistent lighting all the way through to really illuminate, you know, the blue in my shirt and try and get my face nice and well lit. I'm not loving kind of the differences in light that we're getting, the shadows. So let's cruise on back, try and catch the tail end of this awesome light, and we'll see you guys there. Okay.
Things we do. Hey there, what's that sound? Something is calling from on the ground. Hey, I didn't notice. Hey, I didn't notice.
Let's get this set.
We're not slowing down. Something is calling from on the ground. Hey, I didn't notice. Hey, I didn't notice.
I think some of these are turning out great. I'm pretty excited to go home and edit them. You know, kind of lame because they're all photos of me, so nothing too exciting, but I just wanted to get a little color. Idaho right now is kind of dull. It's really hot, things are dying, so hopefully in the fall we'll get some better colors again, and in the spring next year, and winter's always fun to shoot around here. But anyway, had a lot of fun with this. I think I've got enough. Gonna maybe do just a little bit more B-roll. We'll maybe roll a little slow motion sequence just before I go because I'm out here. The light's still pretty good, but I kind of want to just have fun shooting some video now. Anyway, I'll see you guys when I get back home and we'll edit these. I use completely free software, just FYI, but it's awesome. It works great, and I'll show you guys how I do it. So I'll see you back home. Peace. Alright guys, hey, what is going on? Jake here, and we are back. It is Saturday night, so a whole day has gone by. I've done nothing but be lazy. We went to the store for a quick second, but anyway, I wanted to dive back into the software that I use in the actual editing time. So we went out in the early morning, we got the good light, we found the good shots, And now it's time to take those and actually make a finished product, right? So if we look over here on my screen, I'm starting in Darktable. Now here's a few of the shots from today. As you can see, picking just 4 of these, I'm gonna actually edit this one. I think this is the one that I wanna do my little demo on today. Maybe if there's extra time, I'll talk about how I just kind of do a few little touch-ups on these other 3. But this one I actually wanna use 2 pieces of software on. So the first one is Darktable, which is essentially the Lightroom equivalent, and it's completely free. It is a complete Lightroom ripoff, you know, Darktable, Lightroom. They didn't even get super creative with the name, but it's free on Mac, Windows, Linux, etc. I started using it on Linux, and it's a great piece of software. So, for example, we have our light table portion. We can come in here and we can see all of our pictures that we've imported. So what that looks like is, say I have my Finder over here. I've got all of my RAW and my JPEG images. I can actually just drag the raw image straight into the light table portion. It pops up, it creates a little XMP, which is kind of like a little local database file, I believe, and then it just sticks all of those files in there, and then we can edit them in the actual darkroom portion. So up here on the right, we see our tabs, we pick our picture that we want to edit, and we click darkroom. And this opens up the actual color correction. So as you can see in this picture, compared to the preview, which has my face really nice and bright because it's just a neutral, raw preview, we actually have it really dark. My face is really, you know, the background is really dark. It's not super blown out. It looks really good. I'm loving how this image turned out. The light was perfect. There's maybe a little bit of blur diffraction that maybe we don't want, but let's just start by using this open circle. And so I kind of start usually with the contrast. For what we're doing today in the second piece of software, which is called GIMP, it's basically Photoshop's equivalent. We kind of want to have a little bit of a higher contrast image to make the effect that I'm going to do look that much cooler. We do this, we do that. I'm going to leave brightness and saturation for now. Those are looking pretty good, and actually go down to exposure. We want that exposure to be up a little bit. It's pretty light, so we want to basically just up the brightness of that image, the amount of light that is coming through. And so because we're playing with raw files, we can really play around with that exposure. Now we can see this right side is quite a bit more than the left side. I kind of like that because my face is pretty consistent throughout, so that looks good. I might turn up the blacks a smidge, maybe not. I might actually turn those down because we have so many blacks. So I'm going to turn those down just a hair. Exposure looks good. Let's go into shadows and highlights. And this is where I kind of find my bread and butter for sort of my style, which is really high contrast. I don't know why, that's just kind of how I've adopted it to be. But up here we can adjust the highlights, which already right there, that was a really nice adjustment. We're really bringing out some of this foreground, which looks really good. So let's see what we can do here. If we go all the way, yeah, I think I like that. That looks nice and clean, nice and cut. And then I want to bring the shadows up just a hair because of that background, and then I'm actually going to bring the highlights back just a skosh. There's not a whole lot going on, but let's bring those up real quick, and then let's get the shadows where I want, which is I want the shadows up, but nothing too crazy. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think we've got pretty high contrast. I might even go try and up the contrast just a little bit more, just a little more contrast on there. It's going to look really cool with the effect that we're doing in GIMP, the cheap Photoshop. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm liking the colors. I think that looks pretty good. Now, the big piece that I'm going to want to really focus on is the blue shirt and then my face. So this is all looking okay, but let's make sure we get those skin colors just nice and exactly how we want. So I'm going to add a little bit of orange into those highlights, which is going to bring my skin to be a little bit of a more neutral-ish type color. It's going to look a little bit more natural, a little less white. I might even go into the red space a little bit. Let's play around with it. I think I'm going to go about right there. I think that's too much green. I'm going to go about right there. And then for my shadows, this isn't super important, but because the blue shirt again is what I'm focusing on, I'll explain that later on. That looks pretty good. We've got a nice little bit of blue back here, but that's not super important. You'll see why. And then we've got these blue shadows in my shirt, which are basically the blue color in my shirt is looking really good. So now another thing we can do is we can come in here and we can clip those highlights. Let's see what this does for us. This may just be terrible, but that actually looks really good. I'm going to clip those in because we want to bring this space basically to be uniform across. I might even go a little further down here. Let's see what that does for us. Yeah, high contrast. That looks awesome. That's going to be perfect. So I think the only other thing is maybe just a hair of this denoise. So when you shoot in raw images, you get all of the noise, basically those little red specks. Wasn't a lot in this one, so I'm going to turn it down to really, really low, but it's always good sometimes, at least in these raw images, to put a little bit because JPEG goes through and renders all of that out. So you're just making sure you don't forget that step to try and do what your JPEG engine is already doing in your camera. All right, so that looks pretty good. The color looks pretty good. I'm gonna go just a hair more red so that my skins look maybe just a little bit more natural. I wish my eyes were maybe just a hair of a brighter blue, but I might go in and do that in GIMP. So I think I'm gonna leave that how it is. Plus it looks pretty natural, so I kind of like how that's looking. But anyway, this is looking good. This is going to be exactly what I want and what I'm going to show you guys. So we're going to go back to Light Table. We come over here to our export options. I have it set to JPEG 8-bit. I want 100% quality, and we hit export. And what this does is it takes that raw image and it actually creates a JPEG rendered image. So let's pull that finder back up. Let's see what we got here, and let's go over to my exported pictures, which should be right here. Let's see if this is the new one. Let's go by order of date. It's probably taking a while because I'm doing screen record on a 6-year-old computer. Quick little side note, guys, I'm actually shooting this on the G9. I don't know if you'll notice any difference in quality to the G7's 4K, but just a little quick thing. Also, the lighting in here isn't great. I probably should have done a little bit better job with the lighting, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But anyway, so there's our picture, all JPEG rendered out. It's actually looking a little splotchy. I wonder if, hold on, let's look at this again. This right here, I may have gone, this may have been too much. So let's turn this down to basically nothing. And then let's try this again. I think it rendered it with just a little bit too much stuff. So we're gonna move that to trash. And then let's try this again. Sorry, I just didn't like how that looked. It's not gonna be great for what we wanna do in GIMP. All right, guys, so let's see how this looks. And yeah, that looks better. I like that. There's a lot more detail in my face, and that looks perfect. So now what we wanna do, this is an exported image. We can minimize Darktable, and then let's open this guy with GIMP, GNU Image Manipulation Program, something like that. It'll probably come up on the screen and we can actually confirm that. Oh, it doesn't look like it. So what is GIMP? Okay, GIMP again is completely free. You can get it on Mac, Windows, and Linux. I started doing all of my photo editing on Linux and then have kind of moved over to my Mac. I still actually prefer to do photo editing on my Windows computer or Linux computer, but let's see, we're going to keep those color spaces so it looks nice and uniform. And today what we want to do is I want to make, this is kind of a fun little technique. I really want to start doing this more. It's not super common because it's a pain in the butt to do, but I want to make sure that me and my shirt and basically all of my being is in color while the rest of the image is black and white. So how do we do that? Well, first, we've got a couple of little things that we need to look at here. We've got our toolbox over on the left. We've got the main picture in the front, which we can zoom in a hair. I'm not going to for the beginning, but we could. And then we have our layers over here, which the first thing we want to do is we actually want to duplicate that layer. So that's super important. Now this bottom layer, what we want to do is we actually want to make this grayscale. So we come in here, we look at this, make sure we're selecting this layer, and then we can come up to colors, which is in the top. Sorry, I think my screen record cut that off, but we can come in here, we can go to hue and saturation, and let's see, that pops up this little screen right here, and we can just say, basically turn all of the saturation down and hit OK. And so what that looks like, because we have two layers, if we hide the top layer, we actually can see that the bottom layer is this grayscale image. By completely desaturating it, we've took out all of the color and it is now completely black and white. So that's cool, but we're gonna add this color back in, and then on this top layer, what we want to do is we want to add a layer mask. We're gonna do full transparency, black, so that's kind of important. Make sure you select that. And we're gonna come here, we're gonna hit add, and as you can see, suddenly everything goes black because you did full transparency. So now, what we care about is we wanna get the color back into me. So let's select the actual mask, and as you can see here, we have the black and the white. The black represents, I think, the actual color, whereas the white is the more transparency thing. So if we flip that, and then we come here and we select, say, our paintbrush, I can actually come, let's make the size nice and big, for example, but then I can go like this, and suddenly I can bring the color back into the image. So you can see my skin is coming back, I can bring my hair back, we can come down here and bring the shirt color back. And so again, this is a super tedious process, but by doing this, I can then basically finally, with fine detail, zoom in. I'm going to turn the size down by quite a bit. I can bring all of the color back into the image that is, you know, however you want it. And I'm going to play around with this a lot more. I really love this technique. I did this long time ago. I figured this out and did this on a picture with Carly. I'll flash that on the screen right now. Love the result. That's like one of my favorite techniques. And again, it's not super popular because it is a pain in the butt. It takes a lot of work. You got to come in and really manually adjust all of your colors. You got to basically draw in everything. So it takes a lot of time, but what's cool about it is you can actually get really creative with your pictures. So one thing that I'm even seeing it right now, what could be kind of cool is almost a bleeding effect from having my face be completely in and then maybe just part of my shirt is colored in. I don't know, I'm gonna play around with it. I might do 2 versions and export them both, but this is the tedious part. I'm gonna stop talking and just get to town. I'll do a quick little time lapse of this sped up because this part sucks. And then we'll chat back after I've got the finished product. So anyway, and guys, again, remember this is GIMP. This is Photoshop's cheap Photoshop, Freeman Photoshop. I really haven't come across anything in here that I felt like, oh, I looked up and I can't do it in GIMP, but I can do it in Photoshop. I know there's probably some nitpicky things. I'm still learning a ton, but I just feel really powerful in GIMP, and I've never felt like, oh, I need to pay a lot more money for software. So one cool thing that I've found is between these 2 programs, as a photographer, you do not need to pay an arm and a leg to get into editing photos and doing it professionally. You can make some really, really good edits with both of these. Obviously, you want a camera that can shoot RAW, but even just play around with these with your cell phone. You can do all of the light table stuff on a JPEG image. It doesn't look as good, but you can still get some really good results. So definitely play around with the software for just shooting with your phone, and then look into buying a camera if you really start liking it. So anyway, I'm gonna finish this edit and then we'll talk in just a sec.
I know why I let you go. There's something strange between us. Oh, let me show you what you need to know. If you see me how I see you, it will show. I am waiting for a moment to tell you everything, but I didn't have the courage. I didn't do a thing. There was nobody around, nobody, just me and you. I know we have got the courage to do the things we do. Hey there, what's that sound? Something is calling from underground. Hey, I didn't notice. Hey, I didn't notice. We're not slowing down. Something is calling from underground. Hey, I didn't notice. Hey, I didn't notice.
And so, yeah, okay, that concludes today's episode, guys. Maybe I'll post a few more pictures on my Instagram. If you haven't looked at my Instagram, I'll put the link in the description, the links on my YouTube page. It's just my name, Jake Felzine, so check it out. That's kind of where I put all my pictures, but I'm kind of hoping to do this a little bit more frequently because this is kind of why I got a camera. I mean, I loved shooting video in the past, but then I was like, I kind of want to take pictures and get into photography. Then I got back into video, so I kind of do both, but I still love going out and taking pictures and editing them. It's just as much fun for me as it is to edit video. I really enjoy both of those. So I'm hoping to do these vlogs where it's like, how did I get this shot? What kind of walkthrough vlog the process of basically what I'm doing on set or how I'm shooting it, and then actually coming home, looking at the software, learning more about Darktable, learning more about GIMP, and maybe kind of what I'm doing to basically get the final image results that you guys see on Instagram or whatever I'm doing for the shots. So anyway, that's just kind of the episode for today. This could be super, super long. I'm probably tried to make it quick, but it's fun. It's a long process to make pictures. I mean, from start to finish, between scouting, shooting, and then editing, it takes a while. So anyway, go try this on your own, guys. Check out Darktable, check out GIMP. Comment below stuff that you've been able to do with that. Maybe send me links to cool pictures or share them on my Instagram, on the Instagram page. Just send me those and I'll check them out. Cool stuff. And again, feel free to use this with your cell phone. It totally works with those JPEG images, but as soon as you can get your hands on a camera that can shoot RAW, it just opens the door to all kinds of possibilities. So anyway, that's all for me today. Let's roll the outro and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Peace. Jake.
Hey there, what's that sound? Something is calling from underground. Hey, I didn't know this.